Welcome to Lead Generation Tactics, Episode 3, Landing Pages and Forms. I'm Dave Meyer, your host today, and thank you so much for joining us on today's busy webinar. We're so excited to have you with us. Wanted to go through a few things. First, this is part 3 in a 6-part series, and if you haven't watched the other 2, I will be sharing information on how to watch those if you have not seen them yet. If you've purchased the All Access Pass, you have full access to those and you should have received an email. If you would like to purchase those individual or pick up the full pass, I'll share with you how to do that as well. BusyWeb, of course, is a digital marketing agency in Minneapolis, and that's why I'm giving this event today. My name is Dave Meyer, and I'm actually going to stop screen sharing for a moment so that you can see the man behind the curtain. And so delighted to have you all here with me today. Here is the BusyWeb studio, and excited to have you with us to talk about lead generation and to go through the details on what you need to know about landing pages and forms. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you have questions during the event, probably easiest to send me a note because we'll take care of them offline. Due to the nature of this event, it's semi-live, mostly intended for folks that are watching this either with us right now or the folks that have purchased the all-season pass and that might not be able to attend right now. So getting back into the screen share, and then we will connect and go right into business. All right, so first, BusyWeb, digital marketing agency, do web design, inbound marketing is the big thing that we're talking about today. And we also do content generation optimization. And of course, we're a Google partner. I personally am a speaker and trainer for Google in addition to my work with BusyWeb. And so I travel the country talking about how to grow your business using Google products, services, and tools. We also do that personally through BusyWeb for HubSpot products and services. And so that's one of the things that we're going to talk about today. But I'm going to take a more holistic approach to what you need to know in order to create landing pages and forms. We already talked through how to build personas for targeting. That's how to generate leads and results by knowing exactly who you're trying to reach and by building an outline of the fictionalized absolute best customer or customers in 1 or 2 or 3 different segments. And then we went into creating your buyer's journey. And if you missed that event with Trigvi last week, you missed quite a treat. And so I'd encourage you to go back to that and or request it if you haven't seen it. Today, of course, we're going to talk about landing pages and forms. Next week is email marketing and sales, how to automate your marketing using email marketing tools, such as either HubSpot's tools or other tools like Constant Contact, MailChimp, any existing and professional email marketing tool. Much of the things that you can do with email is really dependent on having a professional grade tool. You can't just send things out of Outlook and expect real results because you can't track, you can't measure, and it's nearly impossible to get any good results out of that content. So we're going to share with you how to do that professionally. And then we're going to talk about workflows for automation. And then we're going to lead it all up by lead scoring, follow-up, and deals in order to help you get access to an entire system of lead generation. I am doing a few live events during this month. So go ahead and check out busyweb.com/events. If you're local to the Minneapolis area where BusyWeb is located, we are doing the social media breakfast coming up. I'm also going to be in Kansas City coming up in May as well. And we're super excited about a bunch of those things. So would love to see you at any of those. Today, we're talking about landing pages and forms. So we're going to go through how to cover landing pages and what to do, what a good landing page is, and then some of the high points that you need to know about if you're really serious about getting a landing page that's built to convert. And then one of the biggest things that's on most landing pages are well put together and thoughtful forms. So we're going to share with you some killer tips and tactics to make your forms perform as well as possible. And we're also going to go through how that plays into the buyer's journey. So we're going to get a little bit deep as we talk about what you need to know and do inside of your marketing. So let's get started if everyone's ready. And here we go. So, all right. So, landing pages are your digital sales rep. If you don't have landing pages on your website, what you essentially have is a bunch of pages that probably have too much information to be all that actionable. So, if you want to connect and engage with your customers, you need to make sure that your content on your website is as single minded in purpose as possible. If you're familiar with the City Slickers movie, Curly was said that the meaning of life was one thing. And then that one thing is entirely up to you. But in this case, the one thing is the one thing you're asking people to do. In this case, it's probably filling out a form or clicking on a button and taking some next step. The entire point of our next step on our landing pages is to get people to start moving forward and enter their information so that we can engage with them more appropriately and be ever more helpful by deepening the relationship. We're going to offer additional content depending on what they do. And that's a lot of what HubSpot and other marketing automation tools can do to help increase the utility of what you do. The goal of marketing in today's world is to help people more than to sell. And if you think about it, the way the web works now, everybody likes to buy online, but no one likes to be sold. The old traditional ways of selling, of trying to convince people to buy now and to cram things down their throats and or trick people, for lack of a better term, into buying or clicking or doing whatever, has really fallen by the wayside in favor of just the reality of the situation. We all have so much more information and so many more opportunities in our lives in the web. And certainly with mobile devices, we're just a tap away from any information that we want via Google or any other tool. So your job as a marketer is to dedicate real content to the people that matter most and to get them the information that they need that proves that you know what they need and that you can serve that need. And so the goal of any landing page is just to get to the point as quickly as possible and get people to sign up, add information, call now, register for event, whatever that is. In general, a good conversion rate goal for a landing page, once people have specifically searched that page out, is about 20%. Don't beat yourself up if you don't hit 20%, especially not at the beginning, because there's a lot that you need to do to optimize your landing pages for conversion. If you look at the process of conversion, you move from calls to action to your landing page to the thank you page. So if someone responds via an email to get better results with user-centered web design, and they click on the download our free user-centered design ebook, that's going to take you to the landing page that includes a simple form. That simple form only asks the information that we absolutely need, and it is in direct proportion. The information that we ask is a direct proportion to the usefulness of the information that we're asking. If we're going to give away a 5-part webinar series that's taken us several hours to do, or if you're giving away something of massive value to that customer, you can ask more information about them. As a matter of fact, people expect that. I'm going to talk more about that and when we talk about forms. Once you fill out the landing page, though, you need to direct them to the thank you page or the completion page. In a lot of inbound marketing, you're trying to guide people through the connection in order to trade for some piece of information. In this case, this is an ebook that we've created about user-centered design, which is a new way of doing web design. And if you've tuned into any of our webinars, there's a lot more information on that from last month. So call to action, landing page, and then thank you page is how you need to think of the landing page process. As I mentioned, your home page sort of is a landing page, but it probably also has a lot of other information on it. And we're going to talk about some of the specific differences in dedicated landing pages between regular pages on your website. So the conversion process on how landing pages work is that we follow through from strangers to promoters by engaging with people at all levels. So we're attracting people via our blog, keywords, social publishing, probably email marketing and connections, might even be advertising or other things. And then we convert visitors into leads through the forms and the calls to action inside of our landing pages. So we're getting people to click and to trade some piece of information or additional engagement through a landing page. And so as you look at this, it bridges the gap between visitors to leads. And then forms are going to take it a next step, but I'll share that with you in a little while. Best practices for landing pages are to absolutely follow the best practices of any marketing. And that includes, of course, writing a clear and concise headline, explaining your offer clearly from your target market's perspective. So you're not sharing how you are or what you're interested in. You're getting and you're eliciting the need that that customer has identified. And then you're going to share what they're going to get out of it. You're going to remove navigation and links to get rid of any cruft that's going to get in the way or confuse the navigation. And then you're going to make that form as short as possible. We're going to talk about that in a minute, but especially with HubSpot, you can have a lot of content pre-populate. And as a matter of fact, the things that you see in yellow in the Let's Chat form on the right here were pre-populated inside of HubSpot because I have visited HubSpot before, or I've visited BusyWeb's website before. You keep that form as short as possible. You make sure that you have relevant images or animations or even short videos. And then you're absolutely and always going to track your results. Let me go a little bit deeper on a few of these. Clear and concise headlines. Always share why people should click or fill out that form. In this case, this web page or this landing page is traditional web design is broken, and then get better results with user-centered design. That's the why people should click. Think about headlines in a 2-2-2 philosophy. The headline should take about 2 seconds to read. The first 2 words should be action-oriented, get better results in this case. And then you want to share with them what to do today, right? So get better results with user-centered design. This is what you want to do. You want to engage and connect. A little weak on the today on this particular one, but we want to also keep it as short and as action-oriented as possible. So I kind of like this get better results inside of that page. So clear headlines are what's going to capture people's attention. And you also have to think about brevity as well as clarity, because people may and probably will be watching or viewing this content on a mobile device. So if it wouldn't look good on a 2-inch or a 4-inch screen, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So you want to make it as clean and as simple as possible. Explaining your offer clearly is also incredibly important. Think about what's in it for me from your lead persona's perspective, the person that you're trying to reach. Why should they care? You're not talking about how interesting you are. You're not talking about the content even at this point. You're eliciting what the problem is and how this piece of content is going to solve that problem. So you can share how visitors will benefit from taking that requested action. In this case, user-centered design lets you launch a great yet smaller site quickly, process on time, and with budget, continually make impactful improvements, and the cost is spread out over a smaller monthly investment. So that's what's in it for the customer. And then use a relevant image or a video. Add fun and interest. Communicate the offer quickly and succinctly, and link the action to an image if appropriate. In this case, we have a fun little welcome people in as people visit the About Us page or the Let's Get Started page. So Jenna on our team is very welcoming, and so she welcomes you in to BusyWeb when you click the Let's Get Started button. And then, of course, track your results. Look at views, conversions, and contacts. If you're getting the results you expected, awesome. If you're not, look at what's missing and figure out how to get over that hump. Bounce rates are always going to be an issue. You can look at that as, and if you're not familiar with what a bounce rate is, it's when someone visits that page and then leaves that page without taking any action. And with only one option to complete, if your bounce rate is high, inside of any given page, you're probably either asking too much or that content isn't as useful as what you're asking for. So one of your options would be, if your bounce rate is high, to reduce the amount of questions to match the level of utility that you're offering inside of that content, or to connect with all of this. It's really easy inside of HubSpot to measure this. This is actually a performance screen of one of our landing pages. So you have 188 views, 31 submissions, 22 new contacts, and 2 new customers out of that. But as we look at that, it also has an 80% bounce rate, which means that 20% of the folks are staying on the page and actually taking that step. But people are also only checking that out for a few seconds. So we might need to write more interesting copy or be less wordy inside of those bullet points, perhaps. And then as we look at that and figure out who we need to connect with, maybe our content target or our target market content is a little bit soft. And so we might need to identify that and update it. The trick is you won't know what to improve if you don't measure. So make sure that you're looking at the results of that landing page. You can also do this in Google Analytics. You can connect and see how many times people are visiting any given page on your website, or what they do from that page to another page. This is another reason to have a limited amount of navigation, if not no other navigation than the button on that page, to make it easier or harder for people to not just take the action that you're looking for, but make sure that you spell that out and say what your results should be. Let's talk about forms. All of the landing pages that I've showed you thus far have had forms on them to collect additional and relevant information. The point of inbound marketing, and the point of marketing in general, in my opinion, is to gather as much information as possible about your customer so that you can serve them as best as possible and as appropriately as possible. So collect relevant information should be your goal through forms, but don't be greedy. It's tempting to ask a ton of information right up front and find everything that you need about them. But think about the inbound and the marketing process as a series of additional steps. It's more like a conversation. You don't launch into a monologue when you meet someone for the first time. So you don't want to ask thousands of questions or even dozens of questions in that first connection. So just ask a few things. The nice part about, again, with HubSpot is that it'll pre-populate a lot of the information if you already have connected with that person before, so they won't have to re-enter some information on your site. And then you can use conditional logic to make sure that that form feels smaller, even if there are a lot of questions. For example, you might say, in this case, I need help with check all that apply, website design, hosting, marketing, and email. If people check on the website design box, a new drop-down might appear that says, what kind of website do you currently have? In this case, if no one clicks that website design, or if the visitor doesn't click the website design button, that doesn't show up, and the form is super simple and easy. The goal, again, is to only get the information that you absolutely need. Forms fit into your marketing process in both convert and close. You can gather information into your customer relationship management database, your CRM, and forms really power that conversion process because you're starting to collect and integrate information. And the more you know about a specific customer, the better the information you can tailor to that specific person's interests and needs. For example, if they say that they are interested in web design, or if they're interested in content, you can ask them related questions to those things and then deliver white papers or additional information to specifically help them get what they're looking for as quickly as possible. And this is a give and get arrangement. People are giving you information in response for the education that you're offering them. In this case, this is an onboarding form that we use for our customers' first touch. And so when people have already said, I'm ready to work with you and I need to give you all the information that you need in order to create a marketing strategy, we're going to go very deep because the information that we're asking is in line with the amount of connections that we're offering to that customer. So what we offer is a very in-depth strategic plan. And so we can ask a lot of questions, but you get contact information and signals. And again, as a HubSpot bonus, some of this information will automatically complete if a visitor has filled out a form with you before on any place on your website. Forms best practices, again, only ask what you need, focus on questions that help segment and identify needs, and then again, use conditional logic to shorten at least the experience of the form, if not in reality, the entire load time. So if someone selects every single option inside of the conditional logic, they're going to have to fill out a bunch of things. But especially if you minimize the text fields inside of your forms, it's going to seem like a much shorter form. So checklists or drop downs, radio buttons, A, B, C, D kind of options are much easier to fill out, and they feel shorter than filling out information. So if you have to enter in a lot of information, or if you're asking a bunch of things, think about ways that you can just ask them to rate things on a scale instead of asking them to type something in. And again, think about the high likelihood that someone may be talking to you or interacting with you over a mobile device. So if they're typing with two thumbs, text fields are very hard to do. And so ask that content. And again, make sure that you're asking questions equal to the value of the information you're offering. If you're offering a high value piece of information or content or an offer, giving people a new car would be very useful to have as many questions as possible, versus if you're offering them a white paper or a preview of a video, right? In which case you should be asking for as little as possible, because that doesn't have a ton of utility. You can also place placeholder text inside of your content. And so it previews information to help offer additional insights within fields. If people can see inside of any given field what you're expecting them to ask, or what you're expecting them to answer, that's going to be much easier for them to input that content. Again, be clear, concise, and helpful. And especially with placeholder text, simple is better. There's a lot of different types of form fields. There's text input. And of course, you're going to limit that text input as much as possible. You're just asking for additional details or things that you can't get any other way. Drop-down select will offer you one choice. Radio select is one choice. Those are the round buttons. And then single or multiple checkboxes allow you to make multiple choices. In the case of this particular piece of content, how many employees does your company have? That's a drop-down, and you can select one, and it's a range, a number of ranges. Which 2 months bring you the highest revenues? So you're going to click two of those. And likewise, which bring you the lowest revenues. That way we know if your business has seasonality. Then you can also offer a file upload and let them upload their business logo, their content, if they have a PDF form that they've filled out, or other information. That's a great way to collect that information. This all fits into the buyer's journey by bringing people through awareness, through consideration, and guiding them to purchase. So your landing pages and forms should fit the stage that you're trying to engage people at. If you're trying to reach people in the very first stages of awareness, you're going to ask for less information, and you're going to offer as much utility as you can from a general perspective. You can automate your marketing from there to give additional information based on the responses that people are giving inside of those forms. So for example, if they say that they want help with web design, or if they want help with inbound marketing, you can ask them additional content or questions, or perhaps introduce them to a series of webinars that will give additional information. If you're a window installation company asking for the content of the measurements of your building that they're trying to get a bid on, would be very proper. And then asking additional information like R values or any other special instructions as they move further along would be a helpful exercise. Ask for more detail as you know additional things. And again, if you're using HubSpot for this, it makes it easy because all of the other stuff can pre-populate. So you already know what you know, and people shouldn't have to keep filling in the same information over and over again. The goal inside of this is to always deepen that relationship. And one of the best ways to do that is to offer an incentive. You shouldn't send out a form with nothing to gain from it. So I'm going to ask you for more information, but here's what you're going to get in trade. More information, a helpful tutorial, details, a free webinar registration, or maybe even a percentage off on your next deal or offer. It's all part of moving people through the entire buyer's journey. And again, all of these little dots on this screen in particular offer additional things that you can do inside of your communications and marketing to drive deeper relationships and move people from simply finding out about you to staying with you and then becoming an advocate or a fan and someone that shares and refers business to you. The key of all of this, of course, is that you need to focus on activity that gets results. One of the things that you need to do inside of that is having a good system to manage and track all of the content that you're collecting from people. If you do this inside of HubSpot, of course, it's pretty easy, and it'll automatically populate into the CRM. HubSpot CRM is free and super simple, and I've already done demos of that if you're interested. From last month, from April, we actually did a great HubSpot CRM overview. You need to measure your marketing, track your results, and that helps you to show ROI. This is all the content that you need in order to generate a helpful and useful relationship with your customer. Today's customer expects a lot more of businesses than ever before, and rightfully so. There's just so much more available from a simple Google search. So your job is to be as useful as possible. We're not here to sell, we are here to help. Selling is almost secondary or the byproduct of being a useful and helpful advocate for our customers' needs. That's what the content that you should be delivering is going to be. And that's why you're going to ask for information via landing pages and forms. If you need more information, I'd love to have you stop by for the rest of this series. Any one of these is $35, and we have 6 total. Again, this one was creating landing pages and forms. You missed build personas for targeting and create your buyer's journey. So if you are interested in those and you haven't already purchased the all-season pass, then you should buy that pass, or you can just get a hold of us and say, yeah, I need to know more about building personas. It's a deeper dive into how to generate those personas. If you do buy the pass, you're going to also get access to the next 3, email marketing and sales, create your workflow for automation, and the grand poobah, lead scoring, follow-up, and deals, where we're going to tie it all together and show you how to generate deals inside of your marketing to generate real results and spike your sales. So we'd love to have you with us for any of these. You don't need to watch live on any of these because these are all recorded, and we're going to offer you the opportunity to download those as we move forward. But if you have registered for these events, just check your email and you get access to each and every one. If you'd like to register for specific ones, just have a couple of things that you need to brush up on, absolutely get a hold of us and you can buy each of those in part, and then we'll keep moving. If you'd like to keep up with us for more information, just send a text to text busy, B-I-Z-Z-Y, watch that autocorrect, to 22828, and you can add your email address to be up to date with the very next thing that we share at BusyWeb. We offer helpful tips and tricks. We offer content like this and special deals to our customers. These are not sales-generated things. These are help-generated things. We very much practice what we preach at BusyWeb, and we try to offer as much helpful utility as we possibly can. So if you do subscribe to our news and updates via this text tool, we're only going to send you information that's going to help you grow your business. If you'd like to get a hold of me because you have questions or information that you need to clarify, here's how to reach me, dave@busyweb.com or 612-4BUSY-O, 424-9990. Again, I'm Dave Meyer with BusyWeb. Thank you so much for hanging out and learning about landing pages and forms. And we will talk to you next week as we go through marketing and sales. So we'll see you on the 10th for that. And until then, hope you're enjoying your day and hope that we've helped you generate buzz without getting stung. Have a fantastic week.